Hi, I'm Haley. For 15 years, I've prided myself on being a devoted single mother to my twins, Marcus and Mia. They're seniors in high school now, practically adults with their own lives, applying to colleges, and generally keeping to themselves. That's normal for teenagers, right? At least that's what I kept telling myself as they spent more and more time locked away in their rooms or out with friends I barely knew. I should have paid more attention to the warning signs. But between working 2 jobs and trying to keep our household running, I convinced myself everything was fine. Miss Walker, I think you should come downstairs. The plumber's voice echoed up from the basement. Ted, a middle-aged man with perpetually stained coveralls and kind eyes, had been fixing our persistently clogged drain for the past hour. Did you find the problem? I asked, descending the creaky wooden stairs. The basement had always been musty and uninviting, which is why I rarely ventured down here. Not with the pipes, no, Ted said, wiping his hands on a rag. But I found something else you should see. He pointed to a section of wall behind the water heater. I had to move some boxes to access the main line, and I noticed this. He gestured to a newly installed door I'd never seen before, cleverly disguised to match the basement wall. This isn't standard construction, ma'am. What do you mean? That wasn't there when we bought the house. I moved closer, running my fingers along the seam of the door, feeling a chill run up my spine. Someone built this recently. See the fresh drywall compound? And these hinges are new. Ted adjusted his cap nervously, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. I wouldn't normally pry into a customer's business, but when I opened it, he pushed the door, revealing a small room filled with computer equipment, several phones, and stacks of what appeared to be fake IDs. There was a desk with multiple monitors, specialized printers, and what looked like card embossing equipment. What is this? My voice barely escaped my throat as I stepped into the room, picking up one of the IDs. It showed a stranger's face, but with our home address listed. I don't know, but it looks like someone's running some kind of operation. Ted stood at the doorway, clearly uncomfortable. Listen, I've got 3 kids myself. Sometimes they do things, unexpected things, but this looks serious. You think my children did this? I asked, though I already knew the answer. The twins were the only other people who lived here. Ted shrugged. It's not my place to say, ma'am. But whoever did this knew what they were doing. This setup is professional. I fumbled for my phone, my hands trembling slightly. I need to call Marcus and Mia. Mom, what's wrong? Mia answered on the 3rd ring, hip-hop music blaring in the background. I need you and your brother to come home right now. I struggled to keep my voice steady. We're studying at Zach's house. Can it wait? We have a test tomorrow. No, it cannot wait. Come home immediately. I hung up and turned to Ted. How much do I owe you for the plumbing work? Forget the bill for now. Do you want me to stay until they get here? His face showed genuine concern. No, but thank you. I need to handle this myself. I walked him to the door, my mind racing. After Ted left, I called my sister Diane. We've always been close, and she's been my rock since the divorce. Diane, can you come over? I've discovered something troubling. What kind of troubling? Like, I found mold in the attic troubling, or I found a dead body troubling. Her attempt at humor fell flat. I think the twins are involved in something illegal. The plumber found a hidden room in the basement with computer equipment and fake IDs. There was a pause on the line. Fake IDs? Haley, every teenager tries to get a fake ID. Not dozens of them with different names and faces. This is something bigger. Can you come over? I don't want to face them alone. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Don't confront them until I arrive. Diane arrived 20 minutes later, just before the twins. Her eyes widened when I showed her the hidden room. Holy crap, Haley. This is serious. What could they possibly be doing? I asked, picking up one of the credit cards with a stranger's name embossed on it. Identity theft? Credit card fraud? There's a lot of possibilities. None of them good, Diane said, examining the equipment. This isn't amateur hour either. Someone invested money in this setup. How could I not know this was happening in my own house? The guilt was crushing. Don't blame yourself. Teenagers are experts at hiding things. Diane put her arm around my shoulders. Remember when I was 16 and had that boy living in our garage for 3 days before Mom found out? This is a bit more serious than hiding a boyfriend, Di. We heard the front door open and close, followed by voices arguing in hushed tones. Mom, we're home, Marcus called out. What's the emergency? Diane squeezed my hand. Remember, stay calm. Get the whole story before you react. I'll try, I whispered, as we climbed the stairs to confront my children, strangers who had been living under my roof all along. Aunt Diane, what are you doing here? Mia asked, dropping her backpack by the door. Her eyes darted between us, sensing trouble. Your mom called me, Diane replied, arms crossed over her chest. She found something interesting in the basement. Marcus's face instantly changed, a flash of panic quickly masked by confusion. What's in the basement? You tell me, I said, struggling to keep my voice even. The hidden room behind the water heater? The one with computers and fake IDs? Mia's eyes darted to Marcus. They'd always had that twin connection, communicating without words. Mom, we can explain, Mia started, her hands twisting nervously in front of her. We're waiting, Diane interjected, her tone firm. Marcus stepped forward. It's not what you think. We're not doing anything illegal. Really? Because creating fake identification seems pretty illegal to me. I cut in, unable to contain my anger. What were you thinking? Do you realize you could go to jail for this? They're props for a film project, Mia insisted, her voice taking on that high pitch it always did when she lied. We're making a documentary about... Stop lying, I snapped. Those aren't props. That's professional equipment worth thousands of dollars. Where did you get the money for that? The twins exchanged another glance. I think we need another opinion, I said, pulling out my phone. I called my neighbor Roger, a police officer who lived across the street. Roger, it's Haley. I need your professional opinion on something. Can you come over? It's urgent. Mom, no! Marcus protested. You can't call the police. Why not? If it's just a film project like Mia claims, there's nothing to worry about, right? Please just let us explain first, Marcus pleaded. You'll have your chance, I promised. But I want Roger here so I know I'm getting the truth. 30 minutes later, Roger stood in my basement, examining the equipment. He wore jeans and a sweatshirt instead of his uniform, but his professional demeanor was unmistakable as he inspected the hidden room. These aren't props, Haley. This is sophisticated equipment for creating fraudulent identification. And these... He held up a stack of credit cards. These are definitely illegal. What happens now? I asked, feeling sick to my stomach. That depends. Do you want to press charges? Roger's eyes were sympathetic but professional. I need to talk to someone first. I pulled out my phone and called Zach's mother, Lydia. Lydia, it's Haley Walker. Quick question. Did Marcus and Mia actually study at your house today? Study? No, I haven't seen them in weeks. Is everything okay? My heart sank further. No, but it will be. Thanks. After hanging up, I turned to Roger. What would happen if I reported this? Given their age, and if this is a first offense, probably juvenile detention, community service, probation. But this operation looks sophisticated. There could be others involved. There are, Diane said, holding up one of the phones she'd been examining. Look at these messages. Someone named Viper seems to be calling the shots. Roger took the phone, scrolling through the messages with a deepening frown. This could be bigger than your kids. We might need to involve fraud division. Mom, please, Marcus pleaded, his voice cracking. We got caught up in something. Viper said it was just creating fake IDs for college kids. Then it became more. And you didn't think to come to me? I demanded, tears threatening to spill. He threatened us, Mia said quietly. Said he'd hurt you if we backed out. Roger's expression hardened. I'm calling this in. This isn't just about punishing your kids anymore. They could be victims too. But they'll need to cooperate fully. I nodded, my world crumbling around me. Do what you need to do. By evening, my living room had become an impromptu police headquarters. Detective Sarah Landry, a sharp-eyed woman with a no-nonsense attitude, led the questioning while two other officers cataloged evidence from the basement. "So this Viper approached you at school?" she asked, sitting across from the twins. "Not exactly," Marcus admitted, staring at his hands. "We met him online first. He said he had a business opportunity." "A business opportunity," I repeated, my voice hollow. "And that didn't sound suspicious to you?" "Mom, we were trying to help you," Mia pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "After Dad stopped paying child support, we saw how hard you were working. We wanted to contribute." "By committing felonies?" My voice rose despite my best efforts. "We didn't know it would go this far," Marcus insisted. "It started with just fake IDs for college kids. Viper said it was a victimless crime. They just wanted to buy alcohol. Then Viper wanted credit cards." "And when exactly were you planning to tell me about this?" I demanded. "We were scared," Mia cried. "He knows where we live. He knows about you." "That's why we're here," Detective Landry interjected. "We need to identify this Viper person." "He's careful," Marcus explained. "We've never met him face to face. He communicates through encrypted messages." "But you have account information, right?" Roger asked. "For payments?" The twins exchanged glances. "Show them," I commanded. Marcus reluctantly pulled out his phone and showed them an app. "The money comes through here." "That's traceable," Detective Landry nodded. "Now, I need you both to understand the seriousness of what you've done. This isn't just about fake IDs anymore. This is identity theft, fraud, potentially interstate wire fraud." "We're sorry, Mom," Mia sobbed. "We never wanted to hurt anyone." "We were just trying to help," Marcus added. "Help!" I stood up, my patience finally snapping. "You've been running a criminal enterprise from my basement. You lied to me every day. You put yourself in danger. You put me in danger." "Miss Walker," Detective Landry cautioned, "I understand you're upset." "No, they need to hear this," I continued, facing my children. "I've worked 2 jobs since your father left. I've sacrificed everything for you. And this is how you repay me? By becoming criminals?" "We're sorry," Marcus repeated, tears in his eyes now too. "Sorry doesn't undo this," I shot back. "Sorry doesn't make this go away." "What's going to happen to us?" Mia asked Detective Landry, her voice small. "That depends on your cooperation," the detective replied. "If you help us catch Viper, that will count in your favor." "We'll do whatever you need," Marcus promised. I turned away, unable to look at them. "I need some air." Outside on the porch, Diane joined me. "They made a terrible mistake, Haley. A mistake is forgetting to do your homework. This was a series of deliberate choices. They're kids. They're 17, old enough to know better." "What are you going to do?" I stared out at the darkening neighborhood, at the homes of people I'd thought were my friends and neighbors. How many of them knew? How many had suspected something was off with my perfect little family? "Whatever it takes to make this right." 3 weeks later, I sat in a courtroom, watching my children enter with their court-appointed attorney. The sting operation had been successful. Viper, whose real name was Vincent Parker, had been arrested along with several other adults involved in the identity theft ring. "All rise," called the bailiff as Judge Miranda Perez entered. The proceedings moved quickly. As juveniles who had cooperated with authorities, Marcus and Mia received relatively lenient sentences: 6 months in juvenile detention, followed by 2 years of probation and 500 hours of community service. "You were lucky," I told them afterward in a private room. "The adults are facing years in federal prison." "Mom, when this is over," Marcus began. "No," I cut him off. "There's no when this is over here. Actions have consequences that last." "We made a mistake," Mia pleaded. "A terrible mistake." "Yes, you did. And now you have to live with it." I straightened my jacket. "I've spoken with your father. When you're released, you'll be living with him." Their faces fell in unison. "But he lives in Colorado," Marcus protested. He's agreed to take responsibility for you during your probation. I found a smaller place for myself. You're moving, Mia's voice cracked. I can't afford the house on my own. And frankly, I can't stay there anyway. Not after this. Mom, please. Marcus reached for my hand. We never meant to hurt you. I pulled away. Intentions don't matter as much as choices. You chose to lie to me every day for months. You chose to bring criminals into our lives. We love you, Mia whispered. I love you too. That's why I'm making sure you face appropriate consequences. That's what responsible parents do. A knock at the door signaled our time was up. What about college? Marcus asked desperately. That's a discussion for another day. Right now, you focus on fulfilling your legal obligations. As they were led away, Diane touched my shoulder. Are you sure about this, Haley? Moving? Sending them to James? Absolutely. They need a fresh start away from those influences, and I need space to rebuild my life. Later that evening, Detective Landry called with news. We've frozen all accounts associated with the operation. There's actually a substantial amount that will likely be returned to you after the trial concludes. I don't want that money. I understand, but legally it will come to you as the property owner. You could put it toward the kids' future legal expenses. Or donate it to victims of identity theft, I countered. That's an option too. After hanging up, I walked through the half-packed house. Pictures of the twins at various ages still hung on the walls. Gap-toothed grins in elementary school, awkward middle school phases, recent photos where they already looked like adults. How had we gone from those innocent children to this? In the kitchen, Roger and Diane were organizing boxes. You know, Roger said carefully, the twins really did think they were helping you. That doesn't make it right, I replied. No, it doesn't, Diane agreed. But it does make it human. I nodded, surveying the remnants of our former life. Do you think I'm being too harsh? I think you're being exactly what they need right now, Roger answered. Someone who loves them enough to make the hard choices. What happens next? Diane asked, sealing a box. I took a deep breath. We move forward, one day at a time. What would you do if your children betrayed your trust so completely? How far would you go to ensure they learned their lesson? Sometimes love means setting boundaries that hurt in the moment, but heal in the long run.